Today we're going to talk about Jodi Huisentruit. Hey guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back by my YouTube channel. Okay, so today we're talking about Jodi Huisentruit. First off, time out. Like, share, subscribe. It's free. This might be a longer video. If you don't like long videos, just click yourself right on out now, okay? Because there are a lot of details. Yeah. And if you don't like psychics, click out now, because I am so tired of your stupid comments, people. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, let's get serious here. Okay, so Jodi Sue Huisentruit was born June 5th, 1968 in Long Prairie, Minnesota. She was the youngest daughter of Maurice Nicholas Huisentruit and Imogene, which she went by June Huisentruit. In high school, she excelled at golf. She was considered a promising talent. She and her team won the state Class A tournament in both 1985 and 1986. Wow, really? They had golf teams in Minnesota where it's cold? That's pretty wild. Okay, because, usually golf teams like Florida where they can practice year-round, Okay, sorry. After high school, she went on to St. Cloud State University, where she studied mass communications and speech communication. She graduated with a bachelor's in 1990. Huisentruit's first job after graduation was with Northwest Airlines. She began her broadcasting career with CBS affiliate KGAN in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, as the station's Iowa City bureau chief. Then she returned to Minnesota for a job at ABC affiliate KSAX in Alexandria. Huisentruit later returned to Iowa for her position at CBS affiliate KIMT in Mason City. The day before she disappeared, she participated in a golf tournament. According to Mason City resident John Van Zice, she then went to his house to view a homemade videotape of a birthday celebration that he had arranged for her earlier that month. Okay. Let's see. At about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, June 27th, 1995, KIMT producer Amy Coons noticed that Jodi had failed to report to work as scheduled, so she called Jodi's apartment. Jodi answered the phone and explained that she'd overslept and that she was preparing to leave for the station. However, by 6 a.m., she still had not arrived, so Coons filled in for her on the morning show, Daybreak. At about 7 a.m., KIMT staff called the Mason City police. When police arrived at Jodi's apartment, they found her red Mazda Miata left out in the parking lot, as well as other evidence that suggested there was a struggle that had taken place near the car. Her personal items, including a bent car key, were strewn about the area, and police reported recovering an unidentified palm print from her vehicle. Investigators interviewed at least 3 neighbors in Jodi's apartment complex who said that they had heard screams at about the time that she would have likely left for work. People, if you hear a woman screaming, even if you think you heard it, call the police. Why do people do this? I mean, I'm not blaming them by any means, but I don't understand. In addition, a nearby neighbor reported seeing a white van parked with its lights on and engine running in Jodi's parking lot about the same time. The van was never positively identified. In September 1995, the Huisentruit family hired private investigators from McCarthy & Associates Investigative Services, Incorporated, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who in turn enlisted the assistance of Omaha, Nebraska private investigator Doug Jassa. I hope I said his name right. McCarthy and Jassa appeared on several national television shows, including America's Most Wanted and Unsolved Mysteries. In November of 95, they had members of Jodi's family travel to LA, California to meet with 3 prominent psychics. Yay, somebody's actually believing in psychics. This meeting was televised and served as a pilot for the Psychic Detective television show. I don't think I ever saw that. Although each show generated several leads, none resulted in concrete evidence or an identification of a suspect. In May of 1996, approximately 100 volunteers searched an area of Cerro Gordo County and left flags to mark anything that appeared suspicious. Each of these sites was then re-examined by law enforcement, but no promising evidence was located. Police and private investigators have conducted more than 1,000 interviews. Huisentruit was declared legally dead in May of 2001. In early June 2008, photocopies of the 84 pages of Huisentruit's personal journal were anonymously mailed to a local newspaper. What? The Mason City Globe Gazette received the material in a large envelope with no return address and a June 4th postmark from Waterloo. The original journal has been in possession of law enforcement since the investigation began. Okay. Within days, Mason City Police had said the sender came forward and was identified as the wife of the former Mason City police chief. Why would she send that to a newspaper? I don't get that. The police gave no motive as to why the woman sent it to the newspaper. Exactly, because why? Hello. In May of 2015, all 100 members of the Iowa House of Representatives signed a letter requesting Mason City to declare June 27, 2015 as Jodi Huisentruit's Day in honor of her memory and all the victims of unsolved cases. This was ultimately declined. Did you hear what I said? This was ultimately declined. Why would you decline that? This doesn't make any sense. In March 2017, a search warrant was executed against John Van Cise seeking GPS data for 2 of his vehicles. The FBI, Mason City Police, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, and private investigators are still actively working on Jodi's disappearance. Okay, so I was able to connect with Jodi. She came through. We talked about her family. She talked about her friends. I explained who I was and what I wanted. You guys, I'm so sorry. Of course, they're mowing in my neighborhood. So I explained who I was and what I wanted, and I asked her if she would walk me through her death. She said she was running late for work. She ran out to her car, and she was almost to her car when this man appeared out of nowhere. She said immediately it scared her, and she was getting anxiety over it. She recognized the guy, okay? He said to her, "Hey, my name's Tony, and today's your lucky day." Yeah. She said she recognized him, and I said, "Oh, so you knew his name was Tony?" And she was like, "No." She didn't know him, but she recognized him because she said he had been popping up. When she would go places, she would see his face. Like he would just, anywhere she went over the last couple months, she would periodically see him. She said it wasn't every time she went anywhere. She saw him outside of her job a couple times. So law enforcement needs to look into that. I doubt, of course, now they probably don't have the cameras outside in the parking lot of her work, but they need to look into this dude. Okay, so she said he grabbed her and restrained her, and he was whispering in her ear. She kept quiet, that he wouldn't harm her, everything would be okay, kind of BS. So she said she came to, and she was in the front floorboard of the car. And she said she literally was like in the fetal position, and she hadn't remembered like what had happened. You know, she was trying to think of the last thing she remembered, and the last thing she remembered was running out of her apartment. So she said, you know, he did something to me to make me pass out, obviously. Okay, so she said, like, when she came to, her head was pounding, so she didn't know if she had been hit or drugged or what, but something was wrong with her head. And she said the guy was driving and talking as if he were carrying on a conversation with someone, but she said it was really monotone. And she was saying that she had seen other newscasters, because, you know, she worked for the news. She had seen other newscasters that would just speak monotone and just never change. They would never change their voice. And she said it was almost like he was like reading from a book or something. And I said, do you know what he was saying? And she said none of it made sense. She said he was just like saying sentences, but they didn't correspond with anything. They didn't make any sense. She said he was just talking crazy. Okay. So she went on to say that once that happened, like, she doesn't remember anything else. And she said she obviously had died at this point. So she said, I don't know how he killed me, but I know he killed me. So I said to her, you know, do you have any clue where your body is, where you're buried? I thought this was interesting. She said, I'm buried in Thornton, Iowa. She thinks that's where she's buried. Now, I said, you know, you 100% know that you're buried in Thornton, Iowa. And she was like, I'm pretty sure I'm buried in Thornton, Iowa. So she didn't go into detail or explain. But so she's saying Thornton, Iowa. And as she's saying it, I'm seeing like a silo. So obviously that silo is important. So my thinking, because she started pulling away, right? So my thinking was, okay, maybe she's in Thornton, Iowa, buried right by a silo, because that's what I was seeing was a silo. Actually, I was seeing a silo, and then to the right, back a little bit, I was seeing like an older building, not a barn, but maybe like almost like a shed, but it's fairly large. So maybe somebody stored like their equipment in there, you know. I don't know. Right. That's just an assumption. But yeah, so Thornton, Iowa. I apologize for the mowing, and I hope everybody's doing well. Be nice, be kind, stay safe, stay healthy, because now, of course, we have the Delta COVID going on, right? I hope everybody's good and everybody's having a great week. And that about does it for me. Bye, guys.